John, I really appreciate you driving all the way down from Philadelphia to pick up this Altair 8800 that you've purchased from our museum collection. This is a wonderful computer, been restored by Win Hagee. They did a great job. He's a wonderful guy and very knowledgeable. Beautiful computer, serial number 414, which probably means in the first month of production. Certainly one of the very first, not the first, but a real early production model. It's a nice unit. And I haven't turned it on since it was restored. We've had it back in the museum about 2 months, and we're happy to have it go your way. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm very excited to take it home. It's got the 8080 chip in it, 8080A as I recall, and I'm looking forward to picking up some old boards and testing it out. And I'm very much looking forward to getting it online so that I can control it with my iPhone.
Well, that'll be fun. So tell me a little bit about, you just a little bit, but you already did, but what you kind of plan to do with this computer, where will it be and so forth, and what you do with it.
Well,
and why are you interested in it?
I'm interested in the history of microcomputers because the contribution of the people who created these objects to human intellectual history is as important as any contribution made by any humans, from the agricultural revolution through the industrial revolution. And the early pioneers who created these machines really kicked off a revolution in informatics that we're still living through today. And I find these machines and the people who created them to be inspirational. So this particular machine will be in my library, or rather in my office at home outside Philadelphia, where I will likely add some additional cards and learn to program in Octal, and possibly hook up a teletype machine to it.
Well, you know, there's a story behind all the microcomputers, and this Altair 8800 was the first kit, kind of complete kit. The Mark 8 was about 6 months prior to that, but it wasn't a kit. You had to accumulate the parts. But Mr. Roberts, who built this, did a wonderful job of putting a package together. Pretty rudimentary computer, but still it's revolutionary. And like I said, so many stories, and most people that are collectors know the stories. But the other, I think, interesting thing about this computer is it was the start of Microsoft.
That's right.
With Paul Allen and Bill Gates going down and working and somehow coming up with 4K BASIC, and that was the start of Microsoft. So a lot of history with these early computers, and this is a great one.
Yes, Paul Allen and Bill Gates, I believe, saw the Altair on the cover of Popular Electronics. Called Mr. Roberts on the phone, somehow convinced him that these two kids could write 4K floating point BASIC, wrote it up in a couple months, and Paul Allen flew down to Albuquerque, demonstrated it, it worked, and thus began Microsoft. That was their first commercial product.
Actually, they both ended up being down there, living in a motel for a few weeks.
That's right,
yeah,
they did.
So it was fascinating. Well, lots of stories. We don't want to go into them here, but we're so glad to send this computer home with you. And from our own historical background, I worked with John Titus and Peter Roney and Chris Titus, and we had a company back in the mid-70s, wrote some Bugbooks, and this particular card here you're taking with you too, the 8080 code card.
Yes.
John Titus did this, so we're sending some souvenirs home with John, and John brought us some really interesting calculators for our collection, so we're pleased with that. And see, we're also sending home the book of The First Apple and the Data Point storybook with you, and also a copy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
That's right.
So we have a lot of things to do between now and our next meeting.
That's right. It's a long drive home.
Great. Just
thank you, Dave.
Wonderful. Thank you, John.